Welcome. We all know that the global pandemic impacted all aspects of human activity. The education sector was very badly hit. So how did it impact students in the UK? I have with me tonight on this program, 4 students from 4 different universities recount their experience. Let's sit back and listen to their story. Thank you. Okay, welcome, Philippa, Phyllis, Chiamaka, Joshua. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to come on this interview and to be guests on this platform. We are looking today at how COVID-19 pandemic has affected you guys. We all know that this COVID has been a nightmare and it's still ongoing. So many of us would like to know how you have coped, how you have managed and still managing, what the prospects are going forward, and of course, how you coped at the time when there was complete lockdown. So I'll start with you, Joshua. Would you like to introduce yourself? So tell us about yourself, your name, the course you're studying, and what university.
So my name's Joshua. I'm studying law and I'm at Leeds Uni. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. That's
okay. Philippa and Phyllis, you want to go first?
I'm Philippa. I'm studying psychology and I go to Nottingham Trent University.
I'm Phyllis. I also study psychology and I go to Liverpool Hope University.
I'm Chiamaka. I'm a student in the University of Birmingham and I study law.
Good. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on. I think I was wondering if you can tell us, for the 3 of you, Joshua, Philippa, Phyllis, you are going into your 3rd year. Yeah. This means that you had the experience of a pre-COVID university experience in your 1st year, and then you now was hit by COVID in the 2nd year. Do you want to tell us, do you think your university managed the transition well from face-to-face teaching to virtual? Do you want to explain exactly what happened during the period? Tell us what your life was like before the pandemic, Joshua, what kind of experience you had, and then the difference, yeah.
So I think, so when the pandemic first started, I was in 1st year and I had to, my 1st year was cut short actually because of COVID around, I think, February. So I got a little taste of like the uni lifestyle and like what it would be like. But I think with my uni, I think they were like, it was a bit of a big shock for everyone. So all the lectures were just pre-recorded or lectures that have been, like done in the past. And then all the seminars were virtual. So I think they did the best that they could in that sort of situation, I'd say.
So you said the lectures were pre-recorded.
Yeah.
How were they transmitted across to students?
So the lecturer would literally just read off the PowerPoints and like have certain extra points that they wanted to say, and then they would just upload it onto the like student portal, so it was accessible for everyone, like on the course to watch.
Oh, you could watch it virtually?
Yeah.
Okay, so they were pre-recorded. So did you have any kind of break in your studies at any point in time?
Not really. I think it was kind of hard with COVID because like there was nothing really else to do apart from uni or like eat or sleep. So I wouldn't say there was much of a break, so to say.
Okay, well, let's hear from Philippa, your own experience in Nottingham. So what was it like, from face-to-face into this experience?
Well, we had like a lot of modules that were already like pre-recorded, like everything's already virtual online. So the transition from going from face-to-face into like everything being virtual wasn't that much of a difference. It just meant all my modules were like that now. So it wasn't much of a massive change. Like we adjusted to it very easily just because I was already used to it in first year.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't that much of a change. It just meant that obviously there was like more live lectures. Like for seminars and tutorials, you would have like a scheduled time when you'd have to like join the Teams meeting, and you would just do it like that. And sometimes it could be like 3 hours or 2 hours, but they would always give us like 10-minute breaks if we wanted to like chill, or we'd like, yeah, it just meant like working in like group situations was harder just because no one would put their like cameras on. So like it was just different because it
Okay,
wasn't.
so students were not willing to put their
Oh,
cameras on, so you couldn't see anybody.
no, I literally never put my camera on once.
So we'll come back to that. So Phyllis, what was it like for you at Liverpool?
Mine was a little bit different because they would record them, they'd always upload the lectures, but they were never recorded, like they would never record them. So when we all had to transfer from face to face to virtual, and they would tell us, they would give us a time and be like, this is when the lectures are going to be on, please watch it before this seminar or before tutorial. And all of our seminars and tutorials, they all just became virtual as well. Like we'd have them at the same time that we had them when we were in face to face. We just all like people had to get moved around into different groups because they couldn't do it. But it was quite easy as well. Like, it wasn't that difficult. It was just everything was just moved online and we weren't going into uni anymore.
Okay, we'll come back. So Chiamaka, for you, you were coming to the university, coming all the way from Nigeria to come and enjoy university experience, university life, and bam, you found yourself in this situation. So can you tell us exactly, how you managed that process? Coming to university, when did you arrive Birmingham?
I arrived in Birmingham in October, so I had already started learning back in September.
Okay.
Then, yeah, so it was online for me from the start.
Oh, from the start? Well, it was October 19. The COVID hadn't started then. The COVID lockdown came up in March 2020.
Yeah, I came in October 2020.
Oh, yeah, October 2020. Yeah, so you actually came in during the lockdown. Yes, okay, I'm with you. Oh, I see. So for you, it was just lockdown all the time, it was like virtual.
Yes.
Okay, so your lectures were all online.
Yes, everything I had was online.
Yes. Did you get to interact much with other students?
Honestly, no.
So that whole university experience and life at uni for you,
it was very different for what I pictured, because normally I always thought I was going to go to university and then have the normal classroom experience, but this time in a more advanced level with my peers. But then now I was in my room with my laptop and then listening to pre-recorded lecture videos. That's how it was for me.
Wow. So it must be a totally different, is there something like university experience where, students go to university, not just to acquire education or knowledge, but, the whole thing about meeting up with friends and taking part in a lot of activities. So what has that felt like during this COVID?
It wasn't really, I didn't really have that opportunity because I thought I was going to meet a lot of people from different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, ethnicities, and then interact, learn their cultures, and then teach them mine. That's what I really thought. So I was really excited. And then I couldn't interact with people. It was really minimal.
Yes. So, okay, moving forward, things gradually started to ease out. Did you have the opportunity to actually interact with people face to face? Chiamaka, now have you had that opportunity? Well, before the universities closed finally in June, did you actually have any face to face experience?
No, I did not, because we had exams around that time and our exams just finished. So
exams were virtual as well.
Yes.
So throughout your first year, you have not had any face-to-face interaction?
Not really.
Is that so? Wow. That must be really, really strange. So, okay, thanks. I'll come back to you. Philippa and Felix, did you have face-to-face later after things were said ease out?
It wasn't necessarily on like students that didn't need to go into uni. It was more so like they only had made like face-to-face interactions with like the art students, like the people that needed to go in for like fashion, like art. So like they said that they were just gonna keep people going into a minimum. So no, not really.
But we didn't have any face-to-face, but as it started to ease up, I think around April, they were like, some people can come in from different classes, but you can sign up. If you wanted to go in, you could go in, but if you didn't want to, you didn't have to. And on like only certain tutorial groups were allowed to go in, but you would like some people, like when you would go in, you'd have to go in at a certain time, and then another class would be able to come out, and you have to sit like 3 seats apart. And it got to the point where people were like, we're not learning anything different that we would be doing online, and it was pointless. It was a waste of time. So then they just moved everything back online until everyone can actually go in, because it was a waste of time.
So Joshua, what was the experience like for you?
Yeah, so like, we had face-to-face obviously at the start of uni, but then literally ever since then it's just been online. It was only really like medical students or like dentistry students that could like go into campus while everyone else had to like stay.
Okay. So how about interaction with your lecturers, like for supervision, if you had question tutorials, surgery sessions, how did that work out?
You would just have to email them, and sometimes you'd be lucky if you got a reply quick enough.
Yeah, like they would take weeks to sometimes reply to
and
people.
Like a lot of lecturers would they would get annoyed by if like a huge number of students would email them. They would like email back a bunch saying, can you all just leave me alone, like blah blah this.
Like,
And
there
it
was
was
a
just
period of time, like they sent an email out to all students saying you can't email your lecturers this week, they won't answer you, there's no point, don't email them. And this was when we were asking for our results back, because we needed our feedback to do another research project, and it was difficult.
Wow. Chiamaka, what was interaction with lecturers like for you?
It was only doing seminars, and then we had discussion boards where you could ask questions. So that was how we interacted with our lecturers.
Wow. So you never got to meet any lecturer in person at all?
And
Wow. So how about Joshua in this period?
Yeah, so it was a mix. Like there was some lecturers that were really helpful and that would, reply to emails quite quickly. And then there were some that just didn't really bother. They take quite a long time to reply to emails, or like the material that they'd give out wasn't really like clear and like helpful. So it was a bit of a challenge to get stuff done.
Good. So let's look at, have you seen any positive aspects to your learning with regards to the whole COVID experience? What are the positive and the negative aspects of this whole experience on your education as students? So if I start with you, Joshua, do you see anything positive from this experience?
I think it's sort of a bit of independence. Like it's forced me to really like read a lot more, and because there was no real distractions, stuff like, oh, I've got to go out and meet people or do certain things. So I think for me personally, I think that's probably like the only like good thing that's come out of COVID.
Yeah, so the night outs and things were cut out, yeah? So Philippa and Phyllis, did you see anything positive from this COVID pandemic experience?
Yeah, like I think it's made like a lot of my tutors realize that a lot of things can be done online. So like sometimes, like I remember in first year, so many times they tell us like, you need to come in for this important lecture, or you need to come in for this important tutorial, and it would be pointless. But doing it like online, I didn't have to leave the house, and I would just do it online and then send it to them. That bit was so much easier than going inside. And I agree with the independence bit, because you were literally forced to do work on yourself. Like no one was forcing you to do it, you had to do it yourself. And if you were to like flop or like miss something, then that was your fault. You had no one else to blame but you. So it really forced me to like motivate myself and to do work.
How about you, Philippa?
It's pretty much the same. Just like um, most things that were online, you didn't actually have to go in for. So like sometimes I would have like I have to go into uni for a 1 hour seminar that would just be telling me to, oh, this is how you write an essay, when I could do that online. So it just made things like that easier.
Okay, so, and Chiamaka, how about you?
I think it's the same thing. It was easy for me to access my learning resources, like my textbooks. It was available online, the soft copies, so it was easier for me.
Okay, so what are the negative aspects? Because it's very important to see. Yeah, to briefly look at. Did it have any negative effects on you guys until you're learning the experience? What would you say as the main negative aspect of this whole pandemic situation on your lives as students? Start with you, Chiamaka.
I feel when it comes to socializing and interacting with your peers, because there's something comforting when you have someone to read with or someone around you and you're learning with the person. So I think that was one of the things, socialization, interacting.
Yeah, okay. Philippa?
I would just say like not being able to literally go into uni, because you literally forget you're in school. So like I used to like going to like a lecture, then going to the library after, then just like, meeting up with friends. Like it would like encourage you to do work, and I actually enjoyed going to uni. That was like the worst thing for me.
I agree. I think not being able to like talk to someone in a lecture or something, or like just talking to people is probably the worst thing to come out of this pandemic. I mean, social interaction has been it's been limited so much that I feel like I don't really know that many people in my course. But yeah.
How about you, Joshua?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Like, barely know many people. Like, you only know like a handful of people on your course, and like, there's no like sense of a routine as well, which I quite like to have as well. So, literally only being able to like wake up and read and then go back to sleep was a bit tiring.
Okay, so I think the last question looking at, so do you think you've been disadvantaged in any way in comparison with your peers, people who graduated before this pandemic? Do you think there's going to be any kind of disadvantage in terms of you going into the real world and the whole experience of university life? Do you think you are disadvantaged in any way?
Yeah, just because like my course, I need to be able to like observe like science, like experiments, and be able to like actually go. I haven't been able to do any experiments, been able to do anything. I haven't sat an actual exam, and I'm supposed to be doing that in third year. So it's like I'm very behind on things I'm supposed to be able to do. Like for third year, I need to do a dissertation, a project on something that I've never been able to observe before. So I'm literally going into this blind. And so that's really annoying. And like sometimes they're not even like giving you like the benefit of the doubt, like, oh, you haven't been, you've been in a pandemic, you haven't been into uni, like it's not your fault. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Phyllis, do you agree with Philippa?
Yeah, because as well, like some of my flatmates as well, they had the same issue, like they were doing their dissertations and they were like all expected to graduate with first, but because of how like different it is doing stuff online and actually being inside uni, like doing it yourself, it's really difficult. Like we had we had to get like a bunch of research, we had to get a bunch of points for the end of the year, where we have to actually participate in experiments so we can understand, like, because we have to do them in our third year, so it's easier for us, and we weren't able to do that. Second year we were supposed to do that as well, we weren't able to do that, and a lot of our research projects had to be changed around the pandemic. So interviews, I had to do an interview for one of my research projects, and I was supposed to interview a handful of people. I ended up only interviewing one person, and that wasn't enough. Like the results from that was not enough for what I needed for the research project, which just really limited a lot of our research experience, which we really need for third years. It's a little bit difficult.
How about you, Joshua? Do you think you've been disadvantaged in any way?
Yeah, definitely. I think as well with the whole exam techniques and everything, because everything's been online, it's been open book, and then obviously next year
You've been open book.
Yeah, like all of the exams have been open book, so then obviously next year it's all exams, but in person with strict conditions. So it seems minor, but it's just those things that you know, because you've not had to really retain a lot of knowledge, since it's all just open books. It's just like, oh, it's right in front of me, so I don't actually need to have to like force myself to remember this. Whereas obviously when we go into third year, we're going to have to do that, but we've not really had to do that our whole university experience.
Okay, so this, when you're going back, let me ask Amaka this question first before I come. So, Chiamaka, do you think you've been disadvantaged in any way in comparison with others?
Well, I think it goes both ways, because I feel like, okay, I was disadvantaged with the fact that I missed one-on-one interaction with my peers and my lecturers as well. And then I think I had an advantage as well, because it helped me to learn to motivate myself more and improved my ability to learn by myself independently.
Oh, okay.
That's what I feel.
That's amazing. So you're saying then that going back in September or so, you'll have in-person experience all through, or is it going to be hybrid, a mixture of both? Have they told you what to expect?
No.
They said it's a hybrid with us, so we're gonna have like an hour's worth of pre-recorded lectures, and then they're hoping to have seminars like in person, obviously in like small groups. Yeah, that's pretty much it at the moment.
Have you been told what to expect, Phyllis?
No.
So you'll just go and whatever
They'll
you see.
probably tell us like in a
Nearer
couple of
to the-
weeks,
yeah,
but not
nearer
right
to the
now.
date. They
Not
said-
now. So Chiamaka, do you have an idea what to expect in the new term
Yes, we're having in-person learning.
or throughout?
Yes, for now.
For now, well, it might change. Okay, well, thank you so much, guys, for making out the time to come. I'm sure our viewers would have picked up something, because sometimes parents have no idea what their children are going through at uni and the kind of experience. Has it had any, there has been a lot of talk on mental health issues. Has it had any kind of mental health impact on you guys? I can see Phyllis, you're shaking your head.
It's just so draining. It's really, really draining. And like, you just get so you get so tired, but you're like, sometimes you feel guilty sometimes for like giving yourself a break. Like you feel like you always have to be on it all the time, because like they're down your throat 24/7. But like you just feel tired, but you feel guilty about it. And I think that's the worst bit about it. Like, because you're not actually going into uni. So then when you don't do work for a certain day, you're like, I haven't done anything, and then you really beat yourself up about it. And it just got to the point where I was like, I need to honestly just give myself a little bit of a break and just like not go in for a little bit.
Any mental health issues with you, Chiamaka?
None.
Not really. Joshua, what do you think?
To be fair, when I heard that everything was going to be virtual, I didn't think it'd be that serious. I thought I'd be able to like cope with it, and just thought it'd be quite easy. But yeah, it's just the whole, like, it's draining, because all you're doing is uni work at the end of the day. Like, there's no actual break from uni, so it's just to have to constantly do that. It was very draining, and it just felt like all the days were just coming into one, and like there was no actual like difference in the days, if that makes sense.
So it kind of was a boring life, no activities,
Yeah.
nothing, no university experience,
Yes.
Well, hopefully things will be different as you go back, and you have something to look forward to. I hope I'll be able to come back and interview you guys to see if there's been any difference. Oh gosh, thank you so much. It's been nice having you. I hope you've enjoyed the opportunity to let out some steam, at least, to say something about the way you felt, because it's sometimes when you bottle these things in, I have no way of expressing. At least now you can just say something, how you felt. But I hope that will have some positive impact on you guys as well. Well, wish you the best. Have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you.
If there's anything like a holiday for you guys, or you're going to be you're going to be tied to your laptops again. Thank you so much, guys, for coming.
Thank
and hopefully things will be much different, and you enjoy the real university experience. Thank you so much. You have my best wishes. Looking forward to first classes, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So there you have it. You've heard from these 4 students how COVID has impacted their lives as students. Well, they're going back to uni very soon, and we hope that they'll have a totally different experience. I look forward to interviewing them again to find out the experience this time compared to what they encountered during COVID. Hopefully, and to see how their universities have made up for this deficiency they experienced during the pandemic. I'm sure you'll be looking forward to joining me at that session. Please don't forget to click on the subscribe button at the end of this video so that you'll be notified when new videos are released. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to being with you at the next one. Thanks.